Okay, so I wanted to offer some reflections today about boarding school in the press and the media. And this is some present TV shows and Lord of the Flies. We've also got Young Sherlock. Also, there's a Disney film which came out, I think, in the last few years called Elio, which also talks about boarding school. And also, there's a few articles which have been in the press in the last few weeks about boarding schools and particularly abuse. So I haven't seen the series, but I've heard from a colleague of mine, Karen Wilson, mentioned about Lord of the Flies and this link in with, boarding school. And essentially, the man who wrote it, I've forgotten his name, William Golding, and he went to Marlborough Grammar School. I don't believe he boarded because his father was a teacher at the school. But he was in the same town as Marlborough College, which is a very well-known boarding school. People like Princess Kate, Princess of Wales, she went to Marlborough, and there's quite a few well-known people who went there. And essentially the story is, as we all know, children go to an island and they're prep school boys, so they're at a boarding school, and basically, very feral and turn on themselves. By the end, 3 of the boys are dead. And what Rutger Bregman talks about in this amazing book, Humankind, is that it wasn't really a reflection of nature, true nature. And this is what his whole book's about. And he says he finds an example of an actual group of people, teenagers, who do get shipwrecked for a number of, I don't know if it's years, but certainly a period of time. And they all kind of worked really well together. And he talks about that here. So it's almost like Lord of the Flies, it's an illusion, it's not truth. Although they say that Golding based it looking at what those boarding school boys were like in Marlborough, how cruel they were. So that's kind of one of the things which has come up, this idea of Lord of the Flies. The other thing that I've seen recently, I was watching over Christmas, I watched a film called Elio on Disney. And it's interesting, this boy, the story's about aliens, but after his parents die, his aunt sends him to boarding school. And it's a boarding school very similar to the one that Paris Hilton is sent to. And she talks about in her book, they live in tents, one of these backward places, doing bushcraft, stuff like that. And the first night he's there, Elio, 4 boys come into his tent and chase him. And basically he runs away. And then he gets taken up by aliens. But it's this place called Camp Carver. And, they come and they're wearing masks as they chase after him. And eventually the aunt comes to pick him up. And she says, if this is what you call building character, then I'll pick it up with your boss. This is unacceptable. And it's just interesting, this character building. This is what the Nazis came to Britain to learn from the British boarding schools in the 30s, was character building. Eton and their prospectus 2021-22 talked about character building. Now what's fascinating, and this is Helen Roche talks about this, that character building, it wasn't by the teachers, it wasn't by the school, it was by the other children. So it's similar on one level to Lord of the Flies. The other piece that I've noticed is just a short one, but it was just Young Sherlock. There's a new series out, Young Sherlock, which is about Sherlock Holmes as a teenager, 18, 19. And he's friends with Moriarty. And he gets sent to boarding school by his father after his mother is sent to an asylum. And later on, the mother and young Sherlock are around London, and young Sherlock is picking the lock, and the mother says, "I don't know you." And it's like, that's really the case. Our parents, when they send us to boarding school, we grow up without them. They don't know us. So I just thought these kind of things, they're present in a lot of films. I'm sure there was another film that I saw where, again, boarding schools are talked about. Well, they're in quite a lot. Percy Jackson, the Camp Half-Blood, that's essentially a boarding school again. And then, the press. There's been quite a lot of articles over the last few weeks. One came out in the last few days about St. Christopher's boarding school, a progressive boarding school. Again, lots of sexual abuse, and the Telegraph has done an article on it. And that's the first time that the school has really said, "Oh, we're really sorry." If you read the article, the school, the people who have been abused have contacted the school, and the school have just not wanted to know. They've just denied it, and sent quite aggressive lawyers at them. And it's just like, And then a few weeks before that, there was some sexual abuse at Eton, and a few weeks before that, there was talk of Gordonston and just what had gone on there. So I think it's in the press quite a lot at the moment around boarding schools, and I really see that it's they have no leg to stand on now. More and more abuse cases are coming out. It seems like, I think the statistics I've heard from some of the databases out there, up to 50% of the schools have allegations against them, and but that's just the ones which have come forward. As Alex Renton points out, it's 1 in 9 abuse survivors come forward. So if that's 50% of 1 in 9 people coming forward, how many have actually been abused? So I really see, and I see that these schools are just becoming obsolete. And I had a great conversation with a lady called Dawn Stallwood, who's owns a company. She was a lawyer in London, and now she's written a book called Beautiful Leadership, about the importance of emotional intelligence, about compassion in leadership, that we need that. Unfortunately, these schools do not teach that. You break the attachment with your parents, you suddenly think relationships aren't important. And so I think that's really, really, really great that it's changing now, that these schools will just become obsolete. Why would you want to send your child there if they're going to create a child, an adult, who doesn't have connection to their emotions? That's what we're needing in the workplace. And I'll just finish on this, an interview I did with Dr. Warren Larkin, consultant clinical psychologist, and he points out the research by Richard Layard from LSE, showing that people, when they got to age 35, they did a study and they looked at the people who were the most successful, what the highest predictor was for their success, and they found that it was emotional intelligence was the number one predictor. The lowest predictor was their academic success. So we need to start flipping this around, seeing the importance of teaching emotional intelligence, having close attachments with your parents, living with your parents until 16, certainly. Boarding school after that makes sense. It was a kind and a nurturing place. But I really see they're coming to an end, so, which is exciting. So on Friday, the interview with Dawn Stallwood would go live. I've got some more fascinating conversations out there. I've got a workshop I'm running next Thursday around leadership pressure. So I'll put a link into the description. And I've also got an episode of the Locked Up Living podcast with Naomi Murphy and David which will go live. I think that's going live today, so you can find that on their channel, talking about my work and Chris's work with leaders. So thank you for listening, and yeah, if you've got some stories or some reflections, please do let me know.